Welcome to Popcorn and Pals, the podcast where we talk about all sorts of movies, good and bad, and give you our completely unqualified takes on them. He's Zach, I'm Justin, and today we're talking about possibly the most famous movie of all time. It's Casablanca. But before we dive into the details, Zachary, why don't you kick us off with your patented plot summary?
All right. So I thought about doing something Star Wars Episode 3. I'm like, war, galaxy strike. But I think I got it. I think it's okay. All right, here we go. The world is at war. Refugees pass through a saloon owned by a bitter yet handsome American expat. When his ex-girlfriend shows up with her war hero husband, he has to choose between either getting drunk, stealing her back, or helping them escape.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Huh? How have you been? How have you? So in Nashville, we've had a lot of bad weather, to say the least.
Yeah. We're recording this on the tail end of a really bad snowstorm. More ice storm than snow, where power has been out. Trees are falling on houses. How have I been? How have you been? Mr. Tree fell on my house.
Well, it kind of just glanced my house. But,
Good. Glancing
I
blow.
finally got it removed after 5 days and 4 days without power. So it was 40 degrees in my house the whole time. Luckily, I escaped to my brother's house for most of it. So we were 5 kids under 5 for 4.5 days under one roof. It was a lot, to say the least.
You can't go outside. It was 6 degrees outside.
No. Okay. So I didn't tell you this yet. So my daughter, they have it's like a little gummy that helps kids fall asleep sometimes, right, when they're awake. It's like magnesium something. I can't remember. So my daughter got into them, and while they were upstairs playing, she's 2. She doesn't know what's going on, and she's just giving them out to the kids like Tic Tacs.
God.
So the day after the big freeze, it was 14 degrees here. Everything is ice, and my brother walks upstairs, and all I hear is "What are you doing?" he's like, "Oh no!" And so we go up there, and we're like, "How many did you eat?" And all the kids are like, "Oh, I didn't eat any." And then there's okay, I had 5, or I'm like, I don't know. They probably ate collectively 40 of these gummies. This was
Holy
an
shit.
adult, and it was an adult kids one. So the ones that I have in my house are I don't know, 50 milligrams, right?
Yeah.
And they're for kids. I give my son 2 and my daughter 1. The ones that my brother had were 200 milligrams. So 4 times the dose that I give. So I give my daughter 150. She probably had 10. She had 4,000% of what she normally does.
Jesus.
So we're up at 9 in the morning, and we go up there, and I'm like, "Oh my God, how did you even find these? Where did you get these?" They're just my poor sister-in-law. She's she doesn't know what how my kids are going to act or where they're going to get into, right? Her kids have never gotten into the spot that she had them, and the fact that she can even open the safety thing is also concerning.
It's impressive.
So we're
Impressive
at
is
the
what it is.
So we're at the ER, 14 degrees, freeze, sliding on the ice, trying to get there,
Oh my
just
God.
to make sure that I don't know, they don't have to get their stomach pumped or something.
So everybody was okay.
Yeah, I guess it's it's an over-the-counter gummy medicine, right? So it's not really, it's like a vitamin. It's not really a prescription drug or anything. So your body has a limit to how much you can absorb of it. So even if they ate a lot more, they don't really absorb it. All it really does is kind of give them an upset stomach and some explosive number 2s.
God. Well,
My daughter handled it like a champ. If anything, it was the easiest day because they were so tired from taking their sleeping gummies. We got to get out of the house for a few hours at the ER, and then everything was fine. We got home, and they took a nap. So, wasn't the worst, but...
Well, yeah, that's way more eventful than mine. Glad to hear everybody survived and you didn't lose any kids. Jesus.
I know. I was they were handing us on the way out with our discharge papers from the ER. They're here's where here's how to lock up your medicine and poisonous things from kids. And I'm like, they're going to get calls on CPS or something for being neglectful parents. And I'm look, we had 5 kids. I don't know where they got them. They're crazy. They're in everything.
You definitely
I
made
had
some
hair
type
before
of
this
watch
weekend
list.
started,
Yeah. That's really funny. I mean, scary, but funny in hindsight.
Yeah, it was scary in the moment, but then when the doctors were like they're like, "I think they're gonna be fine. Let me call the poison control," and poison control's like, "Yeah, it's fine, just g eat some food.
Jesus.
It'll
Well,
pass."
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we, no, I had nothing of that sort. Hannah and the baby were out of town. It was just like a cosmic joke. My power went out, and my parents were like, "Come over to our house. We still have power." Like, "Yeah, that's awesome." So we skated over there, and then as soon as I walked upstairs and said hi to my mom, her power went out. So, like, luckily, it came back on a few days later or a few hours later, but,
Yeah.
yeah, nothing like a bunch of gummy overdoses.
I know, it's just the worst,
But
but
but luckily, we had Casablanca to keep us warm during this wonderful ice storm.
Yeah, the very friendly World War II Nazi movie. Really cozy. Actually,
So
I think this
I
movie is pretty fun. I had a good time with it.
so I will say this, I mean, I know we're gonna go through all the things. I've never seen Casablanca before, which is
Mhm,
sounds like blasphemy. I don't know how you can be on this planet and never have seen Casablanca. I'd never seen it before. Obviously, I always knew what it was and heard of it, but,
mhm,
um I really I really enjoyed it. Actually, I think I'm more, critical of older movies, and I
mhm.
really struggled to find things that I didn't like or were, like, actual pitfalls with this movie. I thought it was really great the whole way around.
Yeah, I agree. So this is the second time I've seen it, and, it was this movie and, like, another movie, which we'll cover later, that were from around that was a little later from the '50s, and it was, like,
Mhm.
the first time I'd seen, like, some old movies, um, that I was like, "God, these are really good," and I'm like, "There's only so many movies coming out now." I don't find, like, modern movies to be as good sometimes, and I was getting a little fatigued by maybe the action movies of today and things like that, and
Yeah.
when I watched this movie, I was like, "There's a whole world of movies out there that could be great, right? Could be really good, could be, like, something I could really enjoy, and I'm just been, like, not they're already out. I don't have to even wait for them to come out. And so
Yeah.
it's partly what inspired me to come up with this podcast because I was like, "There's a whole world of movies that are actually pretty good."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Casablanca was one of the first ones I saw that really made me think that.
Yeah. I think it's the is it the oldest movie that we have talked about so far, or was Philadelphia Story older than that? 'Cause this was like 1940 what was it, 41,
Yeah,
42?
Philadelphia Story is 47. I'll
Yeah.
tell you in 2 seconds.
But I think point being, I think
No,
this is the
Philadelphia Story is older, it's 1940. So
oh,
this
okay.
is they beat it by
Well
a year or 2.
well, shit, you stole my thunder, but
Sorry.
it's still it's around the same time period. It's from the
Yeah, yeah.
'40s. Um, so I mean, like, it's just I thought it was just really impressive because again, like, stuff from that time period, it's just so different than what we have today. And I think if you're like us, we're a younger generation that's grown up on an entirely different set of movies and a wholly different Hollywood. Like, it's impressive that I enjoyed it as much as I did. I surprised myself.
Yeah, good. Just before we get too into our thoughts here, I was gonna go over real quickly the structure of our podcast. So, we're gonna chat a little bit like we're doing right now, right? We're gonna open up with some of our initial thoughts on the movie, and then we're gonna go into our categories or superlatives or whatever you wanna call them, right? Kinda give a structure to the conversation, and then
Mhm.
we will end with our, patented "Should this be a classic?" Definitely 2 guys who don't know what they're talking about can definitely, speak to
We're
that.
we're totally
Um,
qualified to pass
eh
judgment.
yeah, and then for those who haven't seen the movie before or don't know about Casablanca, which I find that's hard to believe, like, there's things that we say just in everyday life because of this movie.
Mhm,
Um, but just for a quick, like, real synopsis, right? This movie is about basically a, like, nexus point or bottleneck in a refugee chain leaving Europe during World War II, right?
mm,
And in this town of Casablanca, where all the refugees go to, they are waiting to get some sort of access, whether that's, like, I don't know, visa or permits to leave to go to the United States, right?
Mhm.
And in this town, the most popular place is Rick's Americana, which is like a saloon that's owned by Rick Humphrey Bogart, the hero of it. And in this kind of point in the war, a war hero and resistance leader has come to Casablanca to seek this path. And it just happens to be that he's also dating Rick's ex girlfriend. And so Rick has to basically decide, is he going to help them get to America? Is he going to try to steal back his ex girlfriend? Um, and shenanigans ensue. And he ends up, spoiler alert, letting them go. And I think our category for what happened the next day will be interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think you could yeah, leave the spoiler alert on there. It's only been, what, almost 80 years? But spoiler alert, this is what Rick does. No, that's a wonderful plot summary. Perfect.
and like I said, this movie is just peppered with like the most things that we say today still, or like that are just so iconic, you just know them, right?
Mhm.
I was writing down some of the lines from this movie that were like things that I said that I was like, I had no idea that it came from this movie. Some of them I did know for sure. Like you'll regret it. You know, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, right?
Mm.
Like that's like classic line. We'll always have Paris. I say that, and I had no idea that it was from this movie. It's just how cultured I am. Mount to a hill of beans. My
Oh,
parents said that. When I heard it in this movie, I was like, "Oh, that's normal." And then I was doing research, and they're like, "It came from this movie." And I'm like, "Oh, that's something so normal," and that
yeah,
I hear that I had no idea. But
yeah. For me, it was, "Here's looking at you, kid."
yes,
It was
yeah.
he said it, and I was like, "Ah, that's" what's the Family Guy episode where he said it. He said it.
No, yeah, that "Here's looking at who" kid line. One thing I didn't know about it, he says it several times in the movie. I didn't
He
realize that.
he kinda wears it out, doesn't he?
Yeah, the
He's somebody thought that was just a banger of a line, and they're like, "Let's throw that in there, like, 3 more times."
So apparently, that is a Humphrey Bogart original. So that's like
Mhm.
something he said in real life and was 'cause I forget what the original line was like. It was like, something much more conventional, like, "Hey, good looking," or something like that. But he was like he used his own vernacular for it. Because for me, I have it later too in, like, what are they talking about? Like, I really don't understand what it means
Yeah, I don't that's a good point. I mean, it
other
doesn't
than, like, like, I see it.
yeah, 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 it's a good point. I don't really know what it means either, but, a hump original that he wore out several times, but he made it iconic. I mean,
He did. It
like
is
I said,
iconic.
I'd never seen this movie before, but I feel like everybody knows that "Here's Looking at You, Kid" because it's been used throughout pop culture, God knows how many times.
Yeah, and the other one too, of all the gin joints in all the world, she walks into mine. Like, that's, like,
Mhm,
another one that's, like, just
mhm,
iconic, and
mhm.
you just know it growing up in America, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I saw that, like, AFI or one of those movie institutes, right, like, put together, like, the 100 quotes in 100 years or something like that of Hollywood, and, this movie led it with 6. They had 6 in there,
Wow,
and, like, the next
wow,
closest movie had 3.
insane.
Yeah. Any other, thoughts you had? What was your first kind of some things you wrote down?
I mean, I think that was like I said, it was a tough one because I wanted to be harsh on it because I was like, it's this old movie that's probably boring and blah, blah, blah." But I really struggled to find anything that I thought was wrong with it, except for like just funny little nitpicks that we'll dive into later. Because of course, something that's almost 100 years old, we're gonna pick at it, but like
Yeah.
huge glaring issues, I really struggled to find anything. Um, I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Um, Several things just like kind of surprised me on it from the storyline perspective, script perspective, all the way down to I can't wait to talk about the disco ball for like me personally. We'll get to that later. But yeah, it was a phenomenal movie. I really enjoyed it.
The one thing I thought was really interesting is the timing of this movie, right? It comes out in '42, I think, filmed
Mhm,
in '41. It is a World War II movie filmed smack dab in World War II, like, it's as contemporary as you can get. It would be
mhm.
like, I don't know, making a movie about, like,
Modern
I
day
don't know.
Ukraine or, like, the
Yeah,
Ukraine-Russian
Ukraine
war.
or yeah, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so timely in the
Mhm.
time, and, we look at it now, it's like a relic.
Yeah.
It's almost like a period piece, and I
Yeah.
think that's probably why it has stood the test of time is because we have so many period pieces from World War II that it's almost like it captures a period that we have a lot of interest still today in.
Yeah. I
Um
actually I had that thought while I was watching 'cause obviously looked up what year it came out, when it was filmed, all the things, and I thought about all the actors that they had in there 'cause you've heard stories of, the draft during World War II and certain
Mhm.
celebrities like Elvis, like, go
Or
everybody
James
fighting.
Stewart, we just when we watched, the other movie, right? Yeah, James
Yeah,
Stewart.
yeah, and so I had that thought, like, are all these people like, are they older that they were, too old for the draft, that they didn't go to the war? Or 'cause I'm like, there's also a lot of foreign people in this movie too. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it is. It's a very interesting piece of film history because 'cause you're exactly right. It takes place smack dab in the middle of World War II.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I wonder how it aged, like, the years immediately after, because obviously a very successful movie, won Best Picture,
Mhm,
Best Writing, Best Directing, all the 3 big kind of creative, um, Academy Awards. But, like, I wonder, like, after World War II, you go back and watch the movie in context of what was happening at the time, and you learn about the concentration camps, you learn about the atrocities of the Nazis,
mhm.
and the so many more refugees are coming to America, and they're watching this. I'm like, I'd be really curious, like, for the first 5 years after this, is it, like, almost like, because there's some humor in it, and it's a drama, but like, it's not overly serious.
Yeah.
And the Nazis in this in particular, I thought they were interesting because they weren't, like, overly harsh, right? They were terrible, they're still evil, but they weren't like, Inglorious Bastards Nazis, right?
Yeah, they weren't, like, imposing. Like, I think
Yeah.
probably the worst thing that was, like, Strasser? Major Strasser? I
Mhm.
can't remember. Um, I feel like the worst thing he threatened was to send Laszlo, like, back to the camp. That was
Yeah.
it. I mean, but, like, yeah, you think about, like, the horrible things they did in real life, that was not portrayed here in this, but there were some scenes, like, I had this down under one of my favorite scenes because you're exactly right, like, it takes place in the middle of this very pivotal moment in history, but they're at this club where everybody's drinking and just kinda having fun, doing whatever at Rick's club. And when Victor walks in with Ilsa? I feel like I can never pronounce her name right. When they walk in, Victor says that he needs to go meet Berger at the bar and figure out what's going on. Like, they just got there. He's trying to get his feet underneath him and all the things. And he leaves Ilsa to go up to the bar, and the camera zooms in on her face, and for like a split second, it's very serious, and she looks terrified in that
Mhm.
moment because she's like, "What if they find out who we are? They're gonna capture us, they're gonna send us back." Because I think at this point, you've heard kinda through, uh, some characters talking that I think they said Laszlo has escaped, like, 3 times or something. Like, they're on the run, clearly. But, like, in that moment, it's like it kinda stops being fun, and it gets very, very serious.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's one thing this movie does great is it kinda, like, teeters between, like, a war drama and a
Mm,
romance and a slapstick, hijinks saloon, right? Like, I think I do have a lot of, like, questions about the logistics of all of this because it's like they're traveling, they're escaping Europe, right? They're escaping Nazi persecution. I'm assuming there's Jewish people there or other forms of, like, the type of immigrants that the Nazis, pursued
mhm.
and they're all coming there and just hanging out, having a good time, right? Like, the
They're
black market
partying.
dealings are, like, the most friendly black market
Yeah.
dealings. They're like, It's like it's very, sanitized for what I think would probably be like a hellish situation
Yeah.
where everyone would have anxiety, to be worried about their families back home, and
Mhm.
here they're just like they're dressed in their, like I'm like, they escaped Europe with, like, their, formal wear, like
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
like,
they're
Victor
drinking.
Victor and Isla show up, and they're like, "Mike, they look sharp for
Yeah.
having,
They're
on the run, trying to
they're
get to
they're ga
America."
they're gambling, they're drinking, like, they're having a great time. I actually thought, I was like, that'd be a fun place to kinda hide out in. Casablanca would.
Well, in the logistics of it too, right? Because like, it, uh I'm like, I don't have a lot of context for the time, which I think would have probably another reason why it's, like, a very topical movie for the time it was released, you probably would have understood, like, why Casablanca it was a French colony at the time,
Mm,
why they could go there
mhm.
and get to America, and I was like I didn't understand, I'm like, "Why don't" it's France, they've occupied France, why don't the Nazis just shoot them? Like, that's just what they would have done,
Yeah.
or they would have, captured them and arrested them, and the Nazis almost are acting like they're handcuffed through the whole movie in this
Mm,
place, and so I had to look up, like, the logistics of it because I just did not understand what was going on. I'm like, why can Nazis go sit in Rick's bar, have Victor in the bar, talk to them, and they can't do anything? I'm
yeah.
like, I feel like they would've just took the pistol out and shot him right there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, they wouldn't have
And
taken him and shipped him
yeah.
back, they would've just killed him on the spot.
So I guess it was called, like, I wrote it down, it's like Vichy, France? VI
Yeah, I saw something about Vici in, like, some of the notes.
yeah. And it was so when I guess at the beginning of the war, before, like, when the Nazis had taken over France, they had only taken over, like, the northern part of France, and, like, basically, temporary government was put in place, an independent sovereign government was put in place in southern France and then in its territories in northern Africa, and
Mm,
that was what this, like, Vichy French was, and it was basically like they cooperated with the Nazis and mirrored what they did, which I kinda
mhm.
speaks to, like, how Louis acts and everything.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
they're very much following they're trying to stay in line, trying to keep their heads down, basically,
Mhm.
and then it was interesting, right? Because the Allies came in and took over Northern Africa almost immediately after this movie was made. So,
Mm,
like, the situation of, like, this escape route kinda changes, and, it's just, like it just showed, like, when I was doing my research, like, how topical and how quick the turnaround on this concept of this movie was. I thought it was very interesting.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it was an interesting world of World War II that I had not really explored.
Yeah.
You see all the, Saving Private Ryan, you see the American war effort, but kinda the refugee interim parts of the war, the earlier
Mhm.
stages was really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many aspects to it. I feel like it's impossible to explore all of it, but that's why it makes for such cool subject matter. And like, yeah, you can kind of have this movie about Rick's bar in the middle of, this kind of like weird place where people are just dancing and drinking and having fun but there's still the very real threat of what's looming overhead.
Do you wanna spend a moment talking about the Academy Awards for this movie? It's nominated
Yeah.
8 of them, and won 3, right? Best Picture, I think,
Mhm.
Best Screenplay, and Director.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the director, Michael Curtiz,
Yeah. I think
I,
that's how you say
um
it.
I was not familiar with him. Were you familiar with him at all?
Never heard of him before.
Yeah, me neither. I looked up his movies. Some of them sounded familiar, but nothing I'd seen.
Yeah.
This was kinda, I think, like, on the closer to the tailer end of his career, so he had earlier movies too.
Mhm.
But he directed 102 films I saw. They just busted out movies back then.
Yeah.
Like, I was doing research because they were like, this movie was not supposed to be popular
Mhm.
or supposed to be big or, it was just kinda like another movie that they were producing. And, they were making like 20 movies a year in the studio.
Insane. I feel like we I feel like we talked about that with Philadelphia
Yeah.
Story, but just, like, how quickly and you brought up a really good point about how back then, the way that actors and actresses worked is so different than it is today, where they were, involved with a studio and they were told, "Hey, you're doing this movie and this movie and this movie, go." And but the speed and the efficiency that they would bust these things out, it's impressive how many they released.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and I almost think it's a better strategy than
Mm,
what we do today, right? They're
yeah.
making this movie for it was like I wrote down how much was it? It was like 3,000,000 or something. It was like $17,000,000 in today's money that they
Mhm.
made this movie for. It's entirely shot in a studio except for some of the B-roll.
Yeah.
So, entirely shot in a studio.
Mhm.
$17,000,000 makes, triple, quadruple what it does, right? Covers the financing of some of the failures. I just think this like 20 movie strategy, low budget, kind of mid-budget movie strategy where you can make 20 movies and then 3 of them hit, 10 of them cover and like some are losses and you
Yeah.
just have it's like a much more diversified strategy than
Yeah.
like, all right, we made this movie, it cost 300 million. I hope it makes $1 billion. Only 20 films in the history of movies have ever done this, but it's gonna be this one, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that's what Netflix's strategy is with, like, Adam Sandler movies. Just throw out as many as you can and 1 or 2 are gonna hit, but, yeah, it's impressive. I don't see how they did it. I don't see how the actors and actresses did it because like, it's I don't know, even though you look at this movie and I know acting has evolved over time, but, like, it's still impressive when you look at the range of emotion and the script, and it's a lot, and I can't I struggle to put myself in that scenario of, like, if I was an actor back then, could I film this movie in the better part of, like, what, probably 2 or 3 months? Like, in its entirety, everything? I mean, I'm sure they were working, like, 18-hour days
Yeah.
trying to
Come
film this stuff.
coming back for reshoots, 6 months later, do you think? They think they're
Yeah.
doing that?
Let's pop up that green screen real quick, guys. Mm.
Alright. Alright, you wanna get into the categories?
Yeah, let's do it. What's up first? Best is it
So
best
yeah, best scene.
best scene? You wanna kick it off?
Yeah, I'll put my first best scene is, when Rick and Louis meet for the first time, he comes into the bar,
Mm.
and they're kinda, going back and forth, and he's telling Rick, um You know, I will say one thing about the dialogue in this movie, not to get sidetracked already right off the bat, but there's a lot of exposition where they're telling what Rick about what people think of him all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Rick already knows this. It's a little corny sometimes. Um, but anyways, I just thought I thought their interaction, they're walking through the whole, saloon
Mm.
and, just their interaction and the way they're playing off each other, they're clearly, like, very familiar with each other,
Mm.
and I think Louis is, like, just very funny throughout
Yeah.
the whole movie, he's so casual and, like, cavalier at, like, being just completely, like, devoid of morals. So
Yeah. He plays both sides. I mean, he
Mhm.
makes it known too. He doesn't hide it.
Yeah, and he's telling him about, like, kinda, giving him a warning about Victor. He's like, "Ah,
Mm.
he's bringing some girl," and you wonder who the girl is, right? Of course.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first great scene.
Yeah. Louis is he was one of my sleeper favorite characters for sure. I had 2 favorite scenes. I'll go in just order of appearance.
Mhm.
My first one, I mean, both of them were towards the back end of the movie, but, I feel like the front end of the movie, Rick says it no fewer than, like, 8 times. He doesn't stick his neck out for other people, but he makes that, like, painfully clear, and then towards the end, he hears the Bulgaria lady's story. I don't
Yeah,
even know if she has a name, but when she helps or when he helps her husband gamble and win, I mean, he's clearly cheating, but he helps him get the money to pay for their exit. But that was just really fun because 1, he kinda screwed over Louis because Louis was trying to get him. He was trying to sucker him, but yeah, you could tell it's kinda like this playful ordeal. Um, but yeah, to see Rick, like, really put other people first when he has said the entire movie, "I don't stick my neck out."
yeah. Well, I think it's, like, it's right before that scene when he figures out that Ilsa like, left him because she figured out that her husband was alive, and she
Mhm.
knew that if she ever went back to him, she couldn't, like there was no way that she wasn't gonna pick Rick over him. So he, like all of a sudden, he's gone from, like, this place of, like, hating her
Mhm.
to, like, now he's realizing, I guess, that she that what they had was real, and it just, like, softens him, and as soon as that happens, she's like, "Alright, let's go save people," you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that scene, I thought it was a great scene, I had that one written down too, I thought it was a really good one.
Yeah. It's a fun one for sure.
What was your next one?
The ending, like,
Yeah.
specifically when Louis protects Rick and they make plans to, like, buddy up and bro down because I did not see Louis' flip coming. I thought for sure I mean, Rick's holding him at gunpoint. Um, I just didn't see that. I thought for sure Louis would, like, I don't know, he would let the German major take him or do whatever he wanted with him, but no, in the end, like, Louis had his back, and then they ride off into the sunset to
Yeah.
what we'll talk about our sequel, but, like, that was such a fun ending because I didn't see it coming. I thought for
Yeah, and that's
sure, like
a classic line from there too, right? Like, "This is the start of a beautiful friendship," you know? That's
Mhm.
another one of
Yeah.
their iconic lines. No, yeah, the ending of this movie is like a perfect ending, I think.
Mhm.
It's got,
Yeah.
like, because the movie's not really high action hype, but it feels at that point there's been so much tension kinda built up and stakes built up, and you don't know if he's gonna go through with it or how is he going to, like, what's leaving Victor behind gonna do to Ilsa, all this stuff, like, there's so much, like, tension kinda going into that last moment, and
Mhm.
then, he's yeah, it's just yeah, it's such a great scene.
Yeah, because you actually I feel like you second guess if Rick is gonna do the right thing being getting Ilsa and Victor out of there. But, like,
Mhm.
there are certain things where I when Rick is telling the plan to Louis and he's selling him on it, where he's gonna throw Victor under the bus and him and Ilsa Rick and Ilsa are gonna fly away, and you kinda think like, maybe he might do it," and so, yeah, like, in the end, when Rick does the right thing and he lets them leave and yeah, it was the perfect ending because Rick doesn't, have his entire life thrown away and go be imprisoned by the Nazis, and him and Louis get to go bro down. Like, that's the best possible outcome for both of them, especially after Louis just murdered the Major Strauss or Strasser, whatever his name is, I can't remember. Like, then they get to go have, like, a buddy cop, like, the sequel movie, hopefully.
No, I think the ending of that movie too, it's like the way it's shot is so iconic. It's just
Mhm.
like the fog and the plane in the background. The reason there's so many like tidbits about this movie because it's so famous, it's been out for so long, and there's so many stories. And I thought it was really funny because the movie, I think it really looks cool, like how it's in the fog and he's got his collar up and he's got his hat on and it's very noir.
Yeah.
And um and the reason it's fogged is because they didn't have enough money to afford a plane, so they built the plane out of cardboard. The plane that's in it is, like, on, like, wires in cardboard,
Yeah.
and they have actually, like, little people as the mechanics that are running around the plane because it's to scale, it's not like a full-sized plane,
Yeah.
and I just thought, like, like, it works, one is black
Yeah.
and white, they obscure it with fog. We do that
Mhm.
with CGI now, and it kinda looks bad, but
Yeah.
I feel like then it's, like, makes
Yeah.
an iconic look to the scene, iconic lines in that scene, iconic everything about the end is iconic, right?
Yeah. I need to see I didn't even realize that that plane was fake. It makes me wanna go back and watch that scene because
Yeah,
I didn't
you
even
can
notice
tell
it.
when you look for it.
Mm.
You're like,
Yeah.
"Man, that's made of cardboard." But the only other scene or the other scene that I had that I thought was really good is, like, I called it, like, the dueling piano scene when the the Nazis are, like, singing some German song, and
Oh.
then Victor gets the whole crowd to sing, La Marseillaise or whatever, I don't know how to say it, but
Mhm.
that French kind of, anthem almost.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, the emotion that you're seeing in the people as they're singing, and you brought up earlier how, there's a lot of, like, foreign people in the film, not
Mhm.
Americans, and I think partly because we were at war, so there's a lot of people over in the war, and a lot of the actors who are in the film came to America escaping Nazi persecution. So, like, the emotions, uh, in those scenes are real to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Even the Nazis, they're Germans. Like, the main guy, he's a German, but I think his wife was Jewish, and he had fled Nazi Germany. He hated the Nazis.
Dang. Ooh, I bet
Yeah.
that was a tough role for him to play. That would be really hard. I mean,
Mhm.
but no, that's a really cool call out. I mean, I got a sense that, when I was just looking at casting and everything, and seeing where some of these people came from, but putting that together that, yeah, this is a lot more than just actors singing songs. You're exactly right. I think it hit probably very, very hard at home for them doing those scenes.
So, final verdict, what do you think the best scene in the movie was?
I mean, I think the ending, like you say, it is completely iconic, and,
It's
like,
gotta
I
be the
think
ending.
yeah, I think that's what it doesn't make the movie by any means, but it is arguably the most memorable part of the movie. It's what pop culture references so much. I mean, like you said, even just the outfits, like the classic trench coat with the collar up and the hat forward. How many times have you seen that? I mean, that comes
Mhm.
straight from here. It's the perfect ending.
No, that scene I told you about the AFI, like, 6 quotes in the movie, that scene has 3 of them. The hill of beans, the, beautiful friendship, and the one maybe today, maybe tomorrow, whatever, but, like,
Mhm.
you'll regret it, kinda that those 3 lines are in that scene, and it made 3 of the best quotes of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? You think the ending too? Or you have a different
Oh,
one?
yeah, it's clearly the ending. I mean, I was just putting up other scenes for us to talk about stuff, right? Like, the
Mhm.
ending is the most iconic part of that movie. It's the best part of that movie. Our Hays Code friend comes back up. So the reason why they wrote it where Rick lets Victor and him go, like, the Hays Code would not allow a married woman to leave her husband. So just like in Philadelphia Story where, like, if you get divorced in the beginning, you have to be remarried by the end of the movie, in this
Oh,
movie, a
yeah.
married woman cannot leave her husband because because of the Hays Code. Now, I think knowing that rule, they wrote it as a plot, right? But, like, I
Yeah.
think it's interesting, right, how the Hays Code
Yeah.
limited the type of writing, and, like,
Yeah.
she had to go with Victor if you knew the code, but yeah.
Mhm. It's so interesting. But yeah, the ending, best scene for sure.
Alright, so next category, best character.
I have a good one.
I think there's a few contenders in here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think let's put up a few of them, and then we'll vote
I
here.
I only have one. And now granted, you
Okay.
can sit here and say that my one is kind of a goofy pick, kind of from left field, but I have evidence as to why he is my number one.
Okay.
Okay, he's a sleeper pick. Obviously, all of the main characters are phenomenal,
Yeah,
right?
Rick.
Rick is
I think
great.
it
Ilsa's
I think you have to nominate Rick, you have to nominate Ingrid Bergman, Ilsa,
mhm.
you have to
Yeah,
nominate, oh, yeah, at least those 2 for
yeah.
sure.
Victor's great. Louis is wonderful.
Yep, gotta nominate
M
Louis.
My pick, specifically, really just for his character, not really so much the actor, Sam,
Yeah,
the
Sam, I was
pianist.
gonna say, you have to put Sam in there.
So, Sam is my favorite because, 1, he always had Rick's back, regardless. He was always there for Rick. No questions asked either. So when they do the Paris flashback, when Ilsa dumps him and Rick is standing at the train platform, it's raining, he's just like in shock. Who's right there to get his ass on that train? Sam. Who did not let him falter? Sam. Sam, right? Sam got him out of Paris when he froze, because if he didn't get him out of Paris, he was going to be in big trouble. He never challenged Rick, especially when Rick was really mean to him. So when he first sees Ilsa come to his
Yeah, and
bar
he's
in
getting drunk,
Casablanca,
yeah.
yeah, he's getting drunk. He's a turd. He's Rick. I think you can safely say he's an angry drunk in that scene, right? Sam stayed there right there with him. He tried to do everything he could to get him to forget about it, tried to get him to, like, go leave, do something else. When he wouldn't, Sam played his piano for him. He knew how heartbroken Rick was, and he put him first. Rick had a lot of bullshit, and Sam said, "I got you."
Nah, Sam knows everything, man, he's been through you know, the highs of Rick's love life in Paris, the lows of his, bitter depression in
Mhm.
Casablanca, and then, you know Yeah, I agree. I thought Sam was a great character. He was on my list too. I had the
I mean,
waiter on my list.
the waiter. Which
Yeah.
wait, who's the waiter?
The kind of like the heavier set guy who's like doing Rick's accounting
Oh, the
at one
German
point, which I
guy.
was like, why does the waiter like doing his books? But whatever.
Is it the German guy? The kind
Yeah.
of fatter man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Yeah.
great.
He had a name. What was his name?
No,
Carl.
it's
His
just
name was
waiter. I
Carl.
looked it up. It's
Is
just
it
the
not
waiter.
Carl? Oh,
Hold on one second. We gotta look this up. I can't. No, you're right. It is Carl. Sorry.
Carl.
Yes.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had,
yeah,
like, the
yeah.
little glasses, and he had the
Yeah.
white hair or white or gray hair. Big guy, heavy set.
I just like he just like suffers no fools, and he like just takes things as it comes at him, right? And then he's so um like grateful to Rick's like begrudging, altruism
Mm,
and everything. I don't
yeah,
know. I thought he was pretty funny too. His moments were great.
yeah. Carl was really good. I liked
Yeah.
Carl.
And I loved Louis too.
Yeah.
Like the captain.
Mhm.
The one scene I think I got the biggest laugh is when they're like, after they do the dueling piano and the Germans are like, "Shut this place down. You see what like Victor's here for 5 minutes and he's already causing trouble." And it's like, "Shut this place. Come up with a reason." He's like, so he shuts it down for gambling. And the guy comes out and he's like, Rick's like, what are you? Why are you shutting me down?" He's like, "I cannot believe you have gambling at this establishment." And then like the the roulette table guy once I was like, "Sir, your winnings for the evening." He's like, "Thank you very much."
Yeah. Yeah, he takes some and, like, puts it on his back or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
There's
was
a
a
few
really
jokes
funny
like
scene.
that I thought were so good.
That's
But no,
really
I
funny, though.
liked Louis a lot too. He's like he was a really good character. And
Yeah.
I think Ingrid would be or Ingrid Bergman, Ilsa's
Mhm.
character. I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about her for a minute.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought she was good. Maybe she's in the worst category for you, but,
No. She was really good. I think, it's more so alright, like, I feel like the big 3, Rick, Ingrid, and or Ilsa and Victor, they're
mhm,
so good, right? And I think, like, they are the movie, and it's just kinda more so, like, I just feel like I wanna pick somebody else just to be different because I wanna
sure,
"Oh,
sure,
yeah,
sure. I
Rick's
picked
the
the waiter,
best."
so
Yeah, that's the only point. I mean, like, those 3, all of them were phenomenal. They were so
Yeah,
good, and they really I mean, Ilsa I there was one point where I really did dislike her character. When you find out after the Paris scene, the Paris flashback, and you feel
mhm,
so bad for Rick, and you're like, "Oh my god, who is this woman?" Right? Like, she cheated on her husband, had an affair with Rick, but then when you find out that her whole motivation was that she thought Victor truly was dead, and then she found out at the last minute, and she didn't know how to tell Rick that he was still alive, like, yeah, how would anybody navigate that, right? And so in that scene, yeah, you have so much sympathy for her, and, like, uh, at one point she was actually on my, worst character list. Like, after that whole I thought she cheated on her husband, she was just a terrible person, um, but then she got off that list pretty quick. She was phenomenal. She was great.
yeah, plus she's very attractive. I was like, not to be super, that guy, but I was like, usually when you watch people from back in that time, you're like, they look of that time, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"No, I get it. I get why she was a
Yeah.
heartthrob
Mhm.
or you know, a beauty screen queen or whatever, screen
Yeah.
queen."
Yeah.
Anyways, so best character for you?
I mean, I can go with Rick or Elsa.
No, you go
Sam
with
is a
your heart.
Sam is a fun choice, but
I think he's great.
he's a side character at best. He's just fun to talk about,
I
but
have Louis as my number 1. I thought he was the funnest character.
Louis
We'll talk about something later, but
yeah. Louis phenomenal. I mean, I'll go with Rick.
okay. Alright.
Rick is probably the best character, but
Yeah.
Sam is my second.
He wins the movie. Rick is like or Humphrey Bogart wins the movie, right? He comes out of this, and
Mhm.
if he wasn't a
Mhm.
star, which I think he kind of already was at the time, but he's a mega star after this movie for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, worst characters.
You go first because I went first on the last one.
So I actually have Victor in this category.
You didn't like Victor?
He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, like, and he does, like, what he needs to do. I do not get like, I think you needed a more charismatic, like, he's so self-serious the whole time. He's kind of, like, dour, you know?
Mm,
Like, I feel like if you are a resistant leader and you're supposed to be inspirational and you're competing for the woman who also loves Rick, it should be this, like, super charismatic, Harrison Ford-esque guy who
mm,
can, like, you're like, "Well, I get it." You know? And I
yeah.
don't know if Victor has that,
Yeah.
but, I don't mean, that's just me, right? You obviously liked him. Like I said, I think he was fine.
No, yeah, I think he's fine for what he is. Like I mean, he's like a step up above a side character, I feel like. I mean, your two main characters are Rick and Ilsa, right?
Mhm.
They're the ones who are shouldering like the majority of the weight of the movie. They're moving it along.
Yeah, they're
And
top billing. Yeah.
it's about them, right? It's about them and their love story. And Victor just kind of happens to be, thrown in there as this love triangle. But I mean, I thought he was serviceable. I didn't think he was, the best thing walking, but yeah, I don't know. You also might just be a Rick supporter and a Victor hater. Do you ever think about that? Team
Uh,
Rick?
I look, I'm shipping Rick. I get it.
I'm shipping Rick and Louie, man. That's
Yeah, for
that's what
sure.
I want to see.
It's gonna be a crazy sequel.
Yeah.
Uh, Anyone that you had on your list?
By default, it was Major Strausser.
Yeah, he's a dude, yeah. He
I
does
don't know. I
he
mean,
plays a good Nazi.
yeah, no, he's great, but, like,
Yeah,
just purely as, he wins it because he is I guess, the closest thing to a bad guy, but
yeah.
again, like, yeah, it's I don't know. He was very, vanilla for a Nazi major. I mean, like we talked about, I think the worst thing that he did was, he pesters Victor and Ilsa and threatens to send Victor back to the concentration camp. And, like, even that, like, that it's so far gone from what, history shows us. Like you said, why didn't he just get, like, a group of soldiers and go up there and pop them when they're sitting at the bar having drinks? I mean,
Yeah.
but I think he won it for me just purely because he was the bad guy.
What were your thoughts on Ugarte? I think that's how you say it. The guy who gets the transit papers in the beginning of the movie.
Um, I thought one, okay, I don't know how to put this into words. Have you okay, I feel like growing up, there was always cartoons that depicted like, older cartoons that depicted, like, this little weaselly guy with, like, huge eyes. Is
Mhm.
that based on him, his
I think
character?
so. I think there's, like, a Robin Williams impression in Aladdin that is of this guy too.
Yeah.
Like
Like, that's the first thing I thought about was, like, I feel like I've seen this man in, like, countless things, but I couldn't place him. But my biggest thing, and I mean, I can throw this out now, but when he runs away from the Germans when they try to surround him in Rick's bar, he pushes them out of the way, runs out the door, turns, and then I think he shoots 2 rounds, like, less than 10 feet away, and it just kinda the scene stops. Did he kill anybody? Because I feel like he had to have committed murder in that moment. I
Well,
think
he
he shot
already
2
had
guards.
committed murder, right? Because he had stole the papers off of 2 couriers that were murdered.
Yeah.
So the guy's already straight up a murderer.
Yeah.
I have some nitpicks about that scene too, 'cause
Mhm.
we can get into it now. 'Cause he's at the bar hanging out. The place is being surrounded by guards and Nazis, and he's just, like, not noticing it. It's, like, literally, like, conjugated at the door. They're like, "Alright, send people," it's, like, very official looking. He's, like, the most oblivious guy
Yeah.
to not and, like
The whole scene is just really funny because he runs away, he commits I'm like, we're just gonna call it, he committed murder. My
Sure.
first thought was after he fired off his pistol, I was like, "He just killed people, he had to have." He was at point blank range, but then they take him away, Rick goes back into his bar and is like, "Everybody calm down, it's fine, it's over. Go back to having fun."
No, that's my other nitpick. We'll get to it later. That's I got several for this scene because the police work of this town, right? And like we'll talk about it's like gunshots, people dying, bodies being carted off. I'm assuming.
It's
You're like, nah, let's
fine,
keep going.
it's
Let's keep going.
fine,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, no, I think okay. I think worst character, Major Strauss. Strasser. I think that's a good choice. He's not the worst
Uh,
character in, like, that this character's annoying or whatever. Or, like, this actor's really bad, but he is a good
no.
villain, and he is menacing. So, yeah, I think he's good
Yeah.
choice.
No.
Alright, what's aged the best?
I have several.
Okay, good. I only have a couple, so
Which, like, we've already kinda talked about, like, a bunch of these, but, uh, costume design,
yeah.
God, the one
I
thing
had
I love
I
from
had my number 1 was Rick's dinner jacket.
yeah, like, that just
Excellent. White dinner
this
jacket, classic.
ti like, this time period, I just the way that they dress and everything, it's so fun to see scenes where every scene, it's like they're dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
Like, you really are hard pressed to find a scene in this movie, and I mean, even, you wanna go back and even touch on, like, Philadelphia Story for that matter, but, like, you're hard pressed to find a scene where they look like ass. I mean, or like, anything that we would wear today, right? Like, it would be commonplace for me to walk up into a movie scene dressed in sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Not back then. They're in, like, three-piece suits and, like, Met Gala ball gowns. I mean, the costumes are so good.
What else you got?
The writing, which, like, this one
Yeah.
stuck out to me, and I bring this up, like, specifically because okay, like we've talked about with other older movies, the writing, they they do such a great job at not giving an overabundance of exposition, and you really have to pay attention. You have to be very intentional when you watch older movies, as like especially this one, and because if you don't, you're not going to know what's going on, or you're going to miss major important details. But it was very refreshing. One specific reason. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff about, like, the new Matt Damon and, Ben Affleck movie on Netflix.
Rip?
They've been doing press release for it, and they said I can't remember the specific context of it, but Netflix encourages, uh,
Uh,
their movies or shows to
second screen viewing, I think they're called, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, state the plot, what they say, 3 or 4 times because most people are gonna be on their phones. And, like, that I watched that, and I think I watched Casablanca after I saw that little blurb from them. I was like, "Man, how cool," like, it's just really refreshing to not have my hand held
Mhm.
and to be treated as, like, an actual competent viewer, and you have to put your phone down, and like, when we watch these movies, I don't know how you watch them, but when we watch them for research to do this, like, I'm very attentive about, taking notes and not getting distracted, but even then, I feel like with these older movies, I have to pause it because if I try to take notes while stuff is going on, I miss probably, 5 minutes while I'm trying to jot down notes and my thoughts.
No,
So
the best part about these older movies is they're on Tubi, and I have advertisements, so it, like, naturally pauses it for me.
yeah. Yeah, you do. You get a lot of ads, and, shout out to Tubi because I never watched Tubi before, but
Oh, man, they're
they're
cleaning up on those old movies.
yeah, the Tubi's a great option for some of the older stuff.
Right. So I had the lighting, you had the writing, I had the lighting,
Oh.
the like, I just thought the way the movie is lit,
Mm,
it's got very harsh shadows. It's very, noir, obviously.
mhm.
And you really uses that, like, because it's black and white, it really uses, like, a gray scale to it that I think is really, I don't know, it's very dynamic. The
Yeah.
way, like, when they're in Rick's apartment and the light's coming through the blinds and everything's like stripes across her.
Mm,
And, Rick is a very dour character. He's always shot in shadow, where Victor is a very light character. He's always shot in full light. Like, the way they use shadow to tell the story. One thing I thought was really cool too was when they were shooting Ingrid Bergman's eyes in her close-ups, her eyes, like, kinda glint,
yeah.
and what they actually have, like, little tiny lights that they're pointing just at her eyes to get the glints and things
Yeah.
like that, and so I thought the use of lighting in storytelling and just to make the scene seem more dynamic was really cool, having real deep
Mm,
shadow blacks, real bright whites, and, again, I hate always comparing these to modern movies or just, like, an old fuddy-duddy or whatever, but,
mm,
um, everything today, I feel, even though it's in color, there's kind of a, like, a gray wash over a lot of things,
Mhm.
And maybe I'm just putting a lot of my, like, feelings about the MCU in the last 5 years out there, because I
Yeah,
love those movies, right? But the
yeah.
last 5 years have been so boring,
Uh,
and well, there's been some highlights, but
mhm.
it's been relatively disappointing, and they just feel the same. And this
Yeah,
movie,
they
I
all
felt, had its own visual storytelling, and I think the lighting in it was one of the things that aged the best for me.
yeah. Well, it's like it's hard to not compare it to stuff that we watch nowadays because the entire process is so different. It's kinda like what we talked about with Rain Man, and you were talking about how they had that one camera rig on set up on the car,
Mhm.
like, during some of the scenes, right? Like, this when they make these older movies, everything is so intentional. They had to work really hard for that. Like those
And
close-ups, like you said, of Ilsa's face, they are very distinct looking. Like when they zoom in on her, it's almost like the entire background stops and she is glowing and sparkling. She looks like a fairy or something. I mean,
mhm.
they tried really hard to get that effect, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good point, right? Like, it's you have to be very intentional about making the movie and what you wanna shoot because 'cause you're limited. I think we've talked about this before, right? You're limited so much that you
Mhm.
actually have to think about it. You can't just shoot and be like, "Nah, fix it later," or, "Shoot 50 different versions and we'll cut them together," you
Yeah.
know? It's like when they're cutting and editing, you actually have to cut the film and glue it back together and everything, right? So it's, like,
Yeah.
very intentionally thought through. And it is interesting because this movie feels very tangible, and it doesn't feel small in scale. It feels intimate, for sure,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
not small in scale, and this thing was entirely shot in studio.
Yeah.
I think you watch I don't know, a movie shot on the volume today, and it looks grand, but it feels small in scale, and this movie
Mhm.
feels big in scale, but it's shot small, right? I think
Mhm.
it's and I think maybe it's just because it's more character driven
Yeah.
than the spectacle.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, but
Yeah. No, that's a good call out. I think that's spot on because yeah, a lot of intentional choices, but the lighting, I never thought about it watching it, but you're exactly right.
what else you got? You got any more? That was my last one.
No, I mean, like, I had one specific thing with, like, the soundtrack. I mean, the
Mhm,
orchestra was wonderful, but the one scene when Rick is drunk, when he asks Sam to play their song, and
mhm.
then it blends Sam's music, his solo piano with this, like, sweeping orchestra, and it goes into their Paris flashback, and it was beautiful,
Yeah.
but, I mean, I think the soundtrack throughout the entire movie was really, really good, but that one specific scene, I was like, "Whoa, that's that was really well done."
Yeah, I think one of its Oscars was Best Picture too, or was sound, right? I think. We should go through the
Uh
categories, right, that it was nominated for, because back then they didn't have Best Picture, it was called Outstanding Motion Picture, but,
Yeah. No,
um
it won Outstanding Motion Picture, Director, and Best Screenplay.
yeah, but it was nominated for Best Actor, Humphrey Bogart, Best Supporting Actor, which was Claude Rains, that's Louis.
Mm,
Cinematography, which they had a separate category for color and for black and white back then.
mm,
So it was nominated for cinematography, editing, and score. And apparently, I guess the score was broken out because it was nominated for scoring of a dramatic or comedy picture. I don't
hmm.
know what the other scorings would be, I guess, for action movies. I have to go look up, see,
Yeah, that is interesting.
like drama or comedy. Like, those are okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the score is going to be very different in those two movies, but okay.
Ugh.
No, I think we're like, okay, cinematography. Yeah, I get why it was nominated for an Oscar and it's like one of the best movies of all time. Oh, the score is beautiful. It was nominated for an Oscar. I get it.
Yeah.
Age's the best.
Everything
This movie.
yeah, yeah. Seriously, and like, it really has. It stood the test of time.
Yeah, yeah. All right, age the worst. I
You
got
kick
one big one.
yeah, you kick it off. Let's hear it.
Okay, so the Bulgarian girl, right?
Mhm.
Louis is trading their freedom for sexual favors, right? He's like, "Oh, Rick, you're getting in my romantic business." I'm like, "No, that's a crime, man. That's sexual extortion."
Nah, it was Wild West back then. It was fine.
And Rick's
Louis is
like,
just doing what he wanted.
"Mm, Louis up to his old tricks. All right."
They'll save that for the sequel. I didn't, You bring that up. I didn't catch that when I watched it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention 'cause
No, I
I thought
actually
it was
I
about
rewound it because when she goes to see Rick, she's like, "Can you do something unforgivable to save your family?" And I'm like,
Mm.
"What is she talking about?" And because a couple scenes before that, Louis was like, "All right, send the girl in, everyone leave, send her in. I gotta talk to her." And then she's like, "Is it unforgivable?" I'm like, did Louis propose what I think he did?" And then later, he's like, "Rick, you're getting in my romantic business. And what you did was a good thing, but you're getting in my romantic business. But I'm gonna bring he said, "I'm gonna bring a blonde here by next week, and don't you mess with that one."
God, Louis.
I'm like
I didn't
I'm
catch that.
like, "All right, you skis."
I thought
So
he
that's
was
what I
just
had as age the worst.
I thought he was just extorting money out of him. I didn't
No,
know
I'm
he was doing
pretty
that.
sure it was
Wow. Man, maybe Louis needs to be under our, worst character. He's a
I
bad
know.
dude.
It is a testament to how much you like that character that you're, like, kinda willing to overlook that, and the movie itself kinda glosses over it because
Mm,
1940s, but,
yeah.
uh but, yes, I had that as age the worst. What'd you have?
Wow. Nothing major. So like you talked about some of the cinematography shots, like, at the very beginning of the movie, it shows a plane landing.
Yeah, and they're all looking up at it.
But it's clearly like a toy, it's a miniature. But it was just so odd because they follow that scene directly right after it. It shows actual footage of a real plane taxiing on so, like, I guess they just couldn't get a scene of a plane landing. But that one that I just thought was really funny, especially 'cause, the opening scene it's one of the opening scenes, and you see this toy, I'm like, "Here we go."
This was the second time I watched the movie, and what's interesting about that is you speak to, like, the intentionality around what they're shooting. So in that scene when they're looking at the plane and everyone's looking at it, you're kinda distracted because everyone's, I don't know, honestly acting so odd and seeing the plane, but,
Mhm.
the Bulgarian couple is in it.
Mm,
And so that's the first time you see them, and then you
yeah.
see them later at when Rick is with Louis, and he's like, "Alright, bring in the girl," or no, Louis is with the Nazis, and he's like, "Alright, Nazis, get out of here, bring in the girl," and you see them waiting in the lobby. It's like you
Mm,
see them throughout the whole movie, and then you don't realize really that they're important to the plot until they get to Rick's and interact with Rick.
yeah.
But again, it was like that intentionality. That one scene
Yeah.
just reminded me of that. But yeah, it did age the worst because it looked terrible.
Yeah. But outside of that, I think really the only other one I had was just I think it goes back to some of the accents in this movie, maybe being actual foreigners, like
Mhm.
non-Americans, but just some of the dialogue was hard to pick up and understand. And I really struggle to watch any kind of movie with subtitles unless I absolutely have to.
Oh, interesting.
So um, just some of that dialogue was hard to hear. Like your boy Carl, the German dude, he was wonderful. He was really funny. I think I picked up maybe 20% of what he said because his accent was so difficult to hear, and they talk so fast.
Yeah.
Um, but outside of that, that was all I had. I really, like I said, I really struggled to find anything that really irked me about this movie.
Mm.
Um, So that was tough. That was a tough one.
Full disclosure, I watch almost everything with subtitles.
You might need to be slapped. I don't understand how you do how okay, let me ask you this. When you have subtitles going, how do you read and then also watch what's happening on the screen?
So, I mean, I can understand English, so I don't have to read it. It's more for me, to your point, when someone does say something that I missed, I can go look back down and see what they said. So, like, it helps me keep up with the movie, but
Mhm.
I have my wife likes it on too. So we're like kindred spirits in that, and
Mm.
I don't even notice it on when I'm watching stuff. They're all like, literally everything I watch. It can be House Hunters America or whatever, right? Like House Hunters International, I have subtitles on.
God.
And um I have it on in the playroom with the kids shows. I'm like, "Oh, they don't even need it." I don't know
Yeah.
why I have it on, but I have just everyone on my TV has closed captions always on, and, I honestly forget, and then, like, my parents come in town, and they're like, "Why are these on?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I guess we could turn them off because it is annoying."
So you let me okay, so you have probably trained yourself to where you only look at the subtitles if you if you just don't hear something, like, you're not constantly looking at the
Oh, I'm
subtitles,
not
right?
reading them. I'm not yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm watching the movie, listening. It's more like you know what probably started me doing it? I watched
Mm,
Peaky Blinders on
mm,
Netflix, and
mhm,
their accents are so thick and they're so gargly that I could
mhm,
never understand them, so I put it on for that show,
yeah,
and I don't know, I think they've just been on ever since then.
the
And
yeah, never
it
turned
does, it
them off.
helps you catch, like, little things.
Yeah. Peaky Blinders, wonderful show. We'll
Yeah,
do an entire season about Peaky Blinders at some point, but, um, yeah, I can't believe you're a subtitles person. My goal is the next time I come over to your house, I'm gonna turn those off every time I come over there. Um, yeah, I can't do subtitles, but in lieu of that, I also could not understand what a lot of the foreign folk said in this movie, but that's
Fair enough.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Um,
So, I think AIDS the worst, sexual assault, right? Or sexual,
yeah, no,
extortion?
that takes the cake for sure.
Okay. Alright, WTF are they talking about? Next category.
Um, I'm gonna lean on you for this because outside of the stuff that I couldn't understand, I actually was kind of surprised that there wasn't a whole lot that I didn't really know. And that's probably I'm going off of, like, specific words, like, going into phrases such as you brought up with Rick, like, "Here's looking at you, kid."
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I still don't
I
really know what it means.
I don't know what
That
that
was my number
means,
1. It's iconic.
um,
Don't know
but,
what it
like,
means.
going back to, like, the Philadelphia story, there were actual words in there. There was vocabulary
Mhm.
I had never heard before, and I had no idea what it meant. But this movie, I felt like there wasn't really anything I hadn't heard before. I just didn't know what some of those phrases meant.
Yeah, I don't know, I the movie is surprisingly modern in its dialogue, and I think, again, it's a World War II specific movie, so I think we've seen so many things made from that time period of the years that
Mm,
the vernac and then again, the things that were odd in this movie, right, like Hill of Beans, don't even had to I went and looked up, like, what was the origin of Hill of Beans? I'm like, "What is a hill of beans?" You know?
mhm.
Um, but, the, and, like, the "Here's looking at you, kid," they've become, like, part of everyday vernacular that, like, they don't seem out of place, but I really don't I have no idea what he's saying other than, like it's basically his way of saying "I love you" is
Mm,
Rick's way of saying "I love you" when he says, "Here's looking at you, kid,"
yeah.
you know? But I'm like,
Mhm.
"Why would you say it that way?"
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's a very odd way to say it, and yeah, like, it hill of beans, I have no idea what that means. I mean, does it mean just, like, it doesn't amount to anything or it doesn't matter or something
Yeah,
like that?
it means, like, it doesn't matter, right? It's
Yeah.
like, we're just, like, 3, insignificant pieces, right?
Mhm.
Um, kinda thing is, like, what Rick is talking about when he says it, but I wanted to look up, like, what the origins of it was. And I did, and then we had power outages and had a tree fall
And
on my house, and
and
we
this
delayed this podcast recording for a week, and I did not write it down, and, so it's gonna have to live a mystery.
yeah, I think that I think we can kind of deduce what some of that means. I think that's a really good, uh educated shot on "Here's looking at you, kid." That
Mhm.
I think that's exactly right. Hill of beans, I think that's exactly right. Doesn't mean much or doesn't mean anything. Um, but they I don't know. Yeah, like we said, there wasn't really anything that I was like, "What on earth did I just hear?" Except for Carl's dialogue. It was pretty tame. I was very surprised for an
Yeah,
80-year-old movie that it was pretty tame.
yeah, agreed. Alright, you ready? What would
What
happen
would
the next day?
Yes. Are you kidding? The Adventures of Rick and Louie. I mean, it's so obvious. Nobody cares about Ilsa and Victor going to America and living a peaceful, happy life. I don't give a shit. I wanna see what Rick and Louie get up to. I wanna see them storm the beaches. They're there on D-Day. They're busting down bunkers
So they get
'cause
out so you're saying they get out, right?
yeah.
They
Oh,
get
they get
to
out. But
They
they're
get to
going they
Lisbon and then get to America, then they come back.
well, yeah, yeah. I would say they go backwards. They're going back into the theaters of war,
The
right? They're going back to hard Europe,
they're g
and
alright.
like, that's where I wanna see Rick and Louie go.
See, like, I see, like, the next day takes 2 paths, right? Rick and Louie get out of there. They're broing it, across killing Nazis, hand in hand. Or the next day, Major Strauss is killed. They're both arrested. They're in concentration camps. It takes a really dark turn, this movie. Goes really dark. Rick is rail thin.
Oh my
He's
god.
holding Louie in his arms, right, as Louie takes his
You
last breath. It's terrible.
you thought about that one, didn't you? That is a
I'm
dark
just
one.
saying they
That's
killed a Nazi. They let the guy
man,
get away. I don't
yeah.
know. They might get arrested. I'm not saying that they don't.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the beauty of it though. That kind of sequel power to take it in so many different directions. Because I mean, shit, you could even angle it from they do escape back to America. Maybe they open Rick and Louie's, a new bar in New York,
There you
in
go.
Rick's hometown. And, they I don't know, maybe they do some more activities out of there. But I think Rick and Louie broing down, that's your sequel power right
There you
there.
go. I was thinking about this. I don't I mean, this movie is iconic. It's often, like, in the top 4 movies of all time on any list.
Mhm,
Um, but I don't know if I think it's old enough now. I do not know if it's untouchable. I'd be curious to see a remake,
mhm,
especially, um like like a miniseries, like an HBO miniseries that
mhm.
takes place in this kind of interesting, like, sphere of World War II that we just don't see that much in movies, and maybe because Casablanca did it so well, they didn't feel like you could do it again. But I think you
Yeah,
actually could do this now. I think it's
yeah.
been long enough, and, the type of acting, the type of technology has advanced enough. I think there are enough caliber actors of these iconic, for these iconic characters today that you could actually pull it off.
Who would you want to play Rick?
See, Rick is 30, or Humphrey Bogart was 37, 40
Mhm,
when this movie came out. I think he says he's 37 in the movie. I think he was 40 in real life.
mhm,
So you have to have like someone who is a millennial player, I guess. So if you want to have like someone the same age,
mhm,
because like to me, this screams like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like Leonardo DiCaprio or George Clooney or Brad Pitt. Like I think all those charismatic actors could play it. I just
mhm.
don't know. I'm like trying to think who could be this today that's like in their
Yeah,
early 40s, late 30s.
mhm.
I don't know if I
I
have
don't
anyone.
yeah, yeah. Timothy
No,
Chalamet.
fuck that. Sorry.
You don't want the medieval shoe.
He's so little. He's like, I mean, I know he's in his late 20s,
Yeah,
but oh my, I like him. Don't get me wrong. He's just not
yeah.
right for every part, and for some reason, he keeps getting every part.
Because he's the new Hollywood boy. He's the new Leo. That's what everybody wants. He's your Paul Atreides. I hope you remember that.
I like him in those movies. I haven't seen Marty Supreme yet, but it's on my
I haven't
list.
either. I kinda want to. I keep
Yeah.
hearing that it's, like, so good, but that's also the marketing. Um,
But it's like
no, I
you can
think
only put like Tom Holland and Timothy Chalamet in so many things
God.
before you're like, okay, they're okay,
Yeah.
or
I think I'm good on Tom Holland for, like, the rest of my life. Like, he's cool. He was fun as Spider-Man, but I don't need to see Tom Holland anymore. I'm good. Timothy Chalamet, yeah, I don't know. I feel like everybody has said he's not to get off on a huge tangent here, that, like, his Marty Supreme is, like, really good. But I don't know. I feel like after I see that, maybe that'll be the deciding factor. Is he the next Leo? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like, I think what I think would be interesting? I don't know, this is gonna just show, like, how I do not know anything about Hollywood. But one thing I've always felt, because I like Chris Pratt, and he's probably more age appropriate for this type of role,
Mm,
um, but he's too silly.
yeah,
But it could be interesting to actually see him do something that is not cool, silly guy,
yeah,
right? Like, actually
cool.
be serious, be more dour, be more of a dramatic
Mhm.
role, but I don't think he would be a good I don't wanna see that necessarily, but I think it would be
Mhm.
interesting for him to try to challenge himself. Like, I would like to
Yeah.
see him do something like a movie like this.
I feel like all of this is really good conversation, and it takes it back to the point of this movie, Rick, that character, Humphrey, all of it was so iconic. Who would you get to play it? It's a
Yeah.
tough question to answer because everybody has Rick solidified in their minds.
You know who I like? The guy who was in the guy who just played Frankenstein.
Well, yeah, Jacob Elordi.
Elordi? Yeah, I like
Yeah.
him. I think
Mhm.
that could work too. He's
Yeah.
kinda got the more adult version of looking adult version of
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet.
Like, I think it would be really cool to kinda because, like, it's an interesting time period because they have this affair as well, not affair, their love story begins as as Germany was invading France.
Mhm.
And then just a few years later is when they reconnect in Casablanca. So it's not like you have this love story and then 20 years later they connect.
Yeah.
If it was, then yeah, you absolutely could have your Leo or your Brad Pitt or your George Clooney and have him be Rick is kind of like an older, more grizzled, type of guy who's lived a lifetime since then.
Mhm.
But it's fresh, like, it needs to be, yeah, he would need to be young.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you get
Leo's
an H
probably could still be in the running, I mean, but
yeah,
he's just on the edge of being too old, where I think, like, yeah, George Clooney's way too old, but
and, I
alright.
mean, if you got an HBO remake, then you could get some wiener in there, knowing you having
What's alright. We might have to edit that part out, okay?
you can mark the clip. How do you
Let's
mark the
keep
clip?
this PG, man. Alright. Ugh, the worst. Okay.
Mm,
Hot takes and nitpicks.
yeah, you kick it off.
Alright, I got a list. It's all pulled up here. Alright, okay. I've already kinda covered some of them because I was like, their outfits, how are they so nice when they're refugees in the middle of Africa? But whatever.
Mm, mhm.
I have a little stupid one. When Rick is in Paris in the rain at the train station waiting for Ilsa, he's all soaking wet, then he gets on the train, he's, like, dry. Continuity error, you know?
I didn't even notice that. That's a good one.
Um, then I had, okay, how does that roulette table work? Like, how can they guarantee it lands on 22 2 times?
Yeah, there's no way. You can't cheat at
They
that.
got a
I
little
don't
magnet in there, it's like, ding, 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 you know?
Yeah. That's the only I mean, maybe there is a way, but yeah, cheating at roulette it'd
I
be
just
one thing if it was like poker or
Yeah.
whatever, but
I felt it was such a strange game to pick.
yeah,
And maybe because it's a big table game, but I feel like even with, like, craps, you could have a better, cheating strategy than roulette.
yeah.
Alright, I did 3 there, what do you got?
Okay, the first one, this is a hot take on myself.
Okay.
Rick's flashback with Ilsa in Paris and they're dancing and there's a disco ball. I was slack-jawed. I think my mouth opened because I was so confused as to why there's a disco ball like, in the 30s, like, the late 30s in France.
Yeah.
So I immediately paused it,
They
and I
added
had to
that
Goog
one, 30 years later in the
yeah,
uh
in the director's cut.
well, who am I
Um,
thinking? Oh my god, what am I George,
Ridley Scott,
no, what's his name? Star Wars. Why am I drawing a blank? George
George
Lucas, the
Lucas.
George Lucas cut. Yeah, he added the
Yeah,
disco
yeah.
ball. God, I have to edit that.
But that was I don't know why, I didn't know that disco balls existed before, like, the disco era in the
Mhm.
'70s, but I Googled that, and that was a total mind blow. I didn't even at that point, I started questioning what how does I don't even know which way is up.
Did
So
you
that
did you see when they were invented?
yeah, it was, like, in the early 1900s, I can't remember
Mm,
specifically, I wanna say in, like, the '20s or something, but, yeah, it was, like, a thing, and it's just so bizarre that I guess they were like, I don't think I've ever seen a disco ball before the 1970s in any medium, whether it be a movie, a picture, nothing. Had no idea that they
mhm.
existed. Anyway,
No, that's a good pickup. I didn't even notice that, but it is it is that does feel out of place. It's like a evidence of time travel or something. That's how it feels like.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mandela effect,
Yeah.
just weird.
Like, was disco in the
Okay.
40s?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest glaring issues and the nitpicks that I have, you already touched on it, but, Major Strasser says that they have a dossier on Rick and that he's 37. And you're exactly right. When he filmed this movie, Humphrey was 43. No shot. Absolutely not. He looks like he's 55. I
He
I
does.
think it has to be from him smoking those skigs or something, but I think they ate those cigarettes aged him about 10 years. But sitting there watching this movie, having this German major tell me that Rick is supposed to be almost the same age as me.
No, me and you are
No,
both 36. I was like,
no shot.
I'm like, one, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be this cool at 37 for starters.
Yeah.
But two, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I still feel like a kid, and this is like a full ass man.
Ha Hannah walked in the room at one point, and I paused it, and I said, "How old do you think that man is?" And she was like, "I don't know, he's at least 50." I said, "No, he's supposed to be 37." She was just as shocked as I was. That was a huge nitpick for me, but
Well,
that's
they had to
more
age him down because like Ingrid Bergman was like 23, you know?
yeah. That was more of a nitpick on Humphrey.
Mhm.
And then this was kind of more of just like it was just funny. But at the end, at the very, very end, before Ilsa and Victor get on the plane, why did Rick have to tell Victor that Ilsa came to his place the night before and pretended that she was still in love with him? At this point, Victor didn't know that she did that, and Ilsa was, like, really caught off guard that Rick even brought it up. It seemed like it was completely unnecessary, and Rick just wanted to be a jerk, and it just didn't matter, but he did it anyway. It just it was one of those, it felt like a backhanded comment
Yeah,
for no
it's like,
reason, just
"Look
to
how good I am, and I could have been even worse, don't get me wrong."
yeah, like, "Hey, I'm glad you 2 are together. This is what your wife did. Bye-bye. Have
Yeah,
fun." It
that's
felt
funny.
like one of those, but yeah, that's it. Those are my hot takes and the nitpicks.
Alright, I got 2 more. Okay, the Nazi letters of transit.
Mm,
As soon as the couriers are killed and they go missing, why would the Nazis be like, no one has any transits anymore. All the transits are bad. No one can leave. Like, why are they letting them still be like, I don't know, active or whatever? Like,
yeah.
why would these be good? You're like, yeah, those 2 guys who were carrying them got murdered. Just now they're out there and it's a free pass. Don't worry.
What did they I think they only needed, like, what, just a signature or
Yeah.
something, and then they're good?
You're like,
Yeah.
the no, anything today, they'd be like, all right, it would be like you lose a checkbook and you're like, all right, checks 150 through 300 are no longer good, you know?
That's that is that, Third Reich hard security right there.
I know, right? I'm like, okay, why would those still be good? Why would they not, cancel them or whatever, right? Like, be like, nobody leaves with those. And then, all right, my last and probably, um, I don't know if nitpick is the right word, but the crime scene, like management at the time. So
Mhm,
to me, there's two big crime scenes that happen in this movie. The first is when Ugarte dies, right? He's just
mhm.
shot a couple guys, like you said. He gets shot and dies, and they're at Rick's establishment. They don't want to question. The police don't want to question anybody. They're just
No.
they're carting people off immediately. Party's going back on. No investigation. No, no one's putting up tape and being like, "All right, let's investigate this. What happened?" Right? It's just 30 seconds. Like I've had my toddler has dropped like his water off of a table, and it's been more investigation by the waiting staff at a restaurant than these police are giving in Casablanca.
Yeah.
The other scene is when Major Strauss gets shot by Louis. Now he is the head of police, but like a Nazi major has just been shot, murdered.
Yeah.
They just grab him, put him in the back of a truck, and drive
Yeah.
off. He's like, "Use." That's another iconic line. Round up the usual suspects, and just puts him in the back of a truck, drives off. No one's investigating anything. No one's putting up tape. No one's doing,
No.
just
No.
paperwork.
It's a Wild West.
It
Casablanca is
really
the place to be.
is. Yeah, no. It's
Louis
the
got his little side sexual thing going on. People are getting killed. I mean,
I'm just
it's
saying,
cold world
we
on
know the
that.
police work is shoddy, but it's just their expedience is I'm like, "It's quick, hey, get dead bodies, get them out of there."
Yeah.
We
I
have 30
really
seconds.
I really did laugh after I forget his name, but Rick comes back into his club. He's like, "Everybody calm down. The scene's over. Go back to having fun." And
Oh, yeah,
it's like, "What?"
Ugarte.
Yeah, what do
Yeah.
you mean? People just died, like, here, like 5 feet that way.
No, there's gunshots. I'm on the floor. I'm like, my whole night is ruined. I cannot get over this anxiety that just
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
My adrenaline's through the roof. I can't gamble properly. Maybe I'll have another drink. Okay, I'll have another drink, but, this is all I'm talking about the rest of the night with just the craziness that just happened.
Yeah. How could you? This is all you could focus on.
All right. So, do we wanna rate it?
Absolutely.
Should this be a classic?
Without a doubt. I mean, it is arguably the most recognizable, the most memorable, the most famous movie of all time.
Mm.
It is absolutely a classic, like, full stop. It's great.
Yeah, not for me. I thought this movie was okay. No, this is I mean, this is the classics classic, right? In fact that,
Mhm.
we're covering it so casually and, are being ourselves with it, I think undermines its classicness. But,
Yeah.
it's the classics classic, and just for my own, self, I just thought it was a really good movie and had a really good time with it, and, um, actually could see myself watching it again. And,
Mhm. I feel like it's almost, like, required viewing,
mhm,
really for anybody that just that enjoys movies, right? I feel like if you're not really, like, a cinephile, if you just kinda casually watch movies or you go see the latest Marvel, I mean, you might not really find a whole lot to enjoy with this, but I think it really like I said earlier, it shocked me how much I really enjoyed this movie, and, I mean, like, when my daughter gets, older, like, we will watch Casablanca one day. It's so good, it's so fun.
yeah. No, I think I agree 100%. It's yeah, I think it's required viewing, really is.
Mm,
Just for, understanding the world, I think what was it you that oh, no, it was I'm sorry, oh my god. It was me that said this earlier, but, for me, it, it, almost so there is you and I both have seen which we'll cover probably, next Christmas, but you and I have both seen White Christmas a lot, and
mm,
that's probably the only old movie I had seen my entire life was White Christmas, and to the point where, I can't even really distinguish it from, I don't know, it's just always been in my life, right? It's my parents watch it every Christmas. So
mhm.
besides that movie, I had not really watched a ton of old movies, right? Probably the oldest movie I watched, Back to the Future and Star Wars,
Yeah,
and, I watched this movie for the first time, and I was like, "Old movies are good. I like them."
yeah, yeah. This is a great contender for if you enjoy this movie, I think it kinda opens up that doorway to you might enjoy some other older ones too.
Yeah.
It gives me that encouragement because 'cause I'm right there with you. I've never watched older movies except for maybe a handful, and I've just always thought like, "Yeah, those are boring," that's just from a different age where they did things differently. But there's so much in Casablanca to love that it's just a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time. Alright. Well, any other final thoughts?
No, no,
Alright.
I think that's it.
Alright. Well, everyone, thanks for, listening, and keep popping that popcorn.
See you next time.